First of all, my honor and privilege to welcome all of you on behalf of Jyotsna and the Business World team to this Future of Design Forum. Some of you have been engaged with this forum for a while. Jyotsna wanted to bring it back, and she's brought it back with so much energy and, the right leaders being in the room. But I want to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Pradyumna Vyas, who's been the chair of our Future of Design Awards jury. I met some new friends. I've known about them from Jyotsna and from what I do. So to all the jury members, to all the speakers, a gratitude note from me. But right now we're going to talk to a man who's seen many seasons, and for the last 5 decades or so, he's been creating icons. Excuse me, gentlemen, can we request, and ladies, can we request you to sit? It's distracting for me if you stand there. Gentlemen, on that right corner. My parents are professors. I have those jeans, and I'm wearing jeans between these two. Please sit down. Thank you, Noor, for doing that. Yes, that's much better. Thank you. Thank you for being so respectful. Mr. Hiranandani, first of all, he just told me when is his birthday. It's a very important day. Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, design is about innovation. You've been an innovator. You have been a futurist in the sense you created a city so much ahead of time. Now you got into the data center business, which is everything is going to be on the cloud. The need for data centers will grow. So you've seen things ahead of time. What are the things that are going to happen in future that you are seeing that you'd like to share with the audience?
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be with you. To be honest with you, that you are the favorite editor of mine, so I can never say no to you. So
thank you, sir. You're very kind.
Thank you for inviting me over here today. The future, first of all, we have to think what is the future of India. The future of India is going to be leadership beyond your and my imagination. We were a developing nation, and we will continue to develop at a pace which is going to be one of the fastest in the world. We have an opportunity to stand out of the entire world and be leaders in so many parts of the world. We have infrastructure. We're growing roads at the pace of 35 kilometers per day, national highways. We are having a growth of GDP which is faster than most of the countries in the world, barring 1 or 2 countries. We are the fastest. We are going to have a position where you will find that the prosperity of our people is going to be immense. When you have prosperity of that kind, you will see that many things that we do, whether we do townships, whether you work on buildings, whether it's on architecture, whether it's on roads, whether it's on gardens, all that design becomes important. After you have catered for the basic necessities of life, roti, kapda, makan, and that's why I'm in makan, the next level becomes extremely important to take design into consideration. Look at this room, how it has been designed in order to look attractive, to be functional, because it has to have a certain size and depth and other things. It has to have a certain height, and it has to have certain items which you do. It's not only about lighting, it's also about how you project this lighting. So design is going to be extremely important for the growth of this country and every aspect that you do. You walk into a store, if it is not well designed, you will not buy anything, because there are going to be stores which are beautifully designed. If you walk on the streets, you will see that now, of course, India, we don't have payments and other things, but you come to Powai and you will see how we design pavements in order to make it look attractive. So people should walk rather than go by a vehicle within the complexities. You can change the design of all that. Utility designs becomes extremely important. We run 14 colleges, we run schools. The old buildings that we have, we feel very sad about, because they're not designed for people. Once design takes into account both aesthetics but also utility, if you can combine these two, it makes a difference. I'll give you a simple thought which I have discussed with my architecture and interior team. I'll give you an example. I told them, every new building that you have, when you make a sample flat, please make the bedrooms in such a manner that you can roll up the bed and use it as an office. And they said, but very few people want it. I said, in COVID times, we used all our bedrooms for offices. The husband worked, the wife worked, the children did schooling from home, they were on VC. If you could make every room into a room where when you get up in the morning, you roll up your bed and do it. So we have a sample flat now in Powai and in Thane, where you will see a sample flat with a roll-up bed. Now, what does it mean? It means that you're dual using this by a concept of design thinking. The architect will say it's a bedroom, but the design person in the architectural team, whether it's an interior designer or an architect who looks at the interiors with a different design concept, can make and convert this into something different. So design will, over a period of time, become the most important thing. Now, can you imagine? I double my house into utilitarian from a room, from a bedroom to an office room. And you can put on a VC and the person will look at you as if it's an office room. So you can work from there as your own office and you can work from there also into it. The design concept is going to become more and more important. Once you complete the bare necessities of life, everything design will become important. Whether it's a car design, whether it's a seat design, whether it's a chair that you're looking at, ergonomics in terms of the chair, it's very important. But design with ergonomics of the chair becomes doubly beneficial. So you don't only look at the functional part, which takes care of your back and other things, which it should, but the second part is how do you make it look good? So every aspect of it is going to be extremely important over a period of years, and everyone concerned with design to do it. The Apple phone that you look at as far as this is concerned, they did 100,000 pieces were done differently. Research was done, and design was finally picked up because it had to be not only utilitarian, but also the design had to be functional, but be looking good, aesthetically looking good. 100,000 different pieces of Apple phone were created, and one design was chosen. The importance of design becomes very important to do it. I'm not saying utility is not important, of course it is, but design means including a utility of a product. So I think the design thought in everything is going to become much more important in the future than we have had in the past. And today, after we are exposed to the best in the world, if you walk and go internationally, everything is done in terms of design. So all this and in the future. So my congratulations to you and this program for design. And I think it has a great future in terms of our country because we have already moved to the next generation.
Thank you so much. I'm sure Dr. Vyas and every design leader in the room agrees with you that design thinking needs to get better in the country, and how you design buildings, how you design acoustics, how do you design schools, how do you design gadgets, has a functional value. But more importantly, we live not only for functional value, we live for appreciating better things. Now let me come to what has changed in real estate post-pandemic. What are the changes that have happened in real estate? And hence, this community should know about it.
First of all, you have to start valuing your home. पहले तो क्या था कि you go to the office, you're working, and then you come back late in the evening, you're quite tired, you have your dinner, you may do a couple of things, and you go to sleep, and then back over the weekend, you want to go out for dinners, you have to go out for some place, you go to functional. Your home was like सोने के लिए, रहने के लिए. It was not really a very important segment. Today, you value your home. So, let's say in the new buildings that we are making, everybody wants 2.5 feet more in the length and 2 feet more in the breadth of their room. They need a smaller, little larger design in terms of quantification, if you can afford it. The second, if you have and want a quality which is aesthetically appealing, it doesn't have to be ostentatious necessarily. You don't really need ostentatious design, but you need a design which is appealing and things. Something you can go back to look forward to and be comfortable with. We do find that when we look at things in the past where we did it, we didn't need to do too much to do it. Today, everything is too little. No matter what you do is too little. So when we talk about lighting, they want dimmers. They want to be able to do the curtains with on the iPad and the phone. They want the cameras in your room so that they can monitor things. So you'll get all sorts of things to be functional along with the looks and feel that you want. I do believe that we are not used to in India to look at standardization, but it's coming. Earlier in the day, everybody said, I want a flat which is absolutely designed and changed the way I would like to do it. But today, when we make hundreds of apartments at one time, we do find that once you have made aesthetically, beautifully, and well-designed apartments, people are happy with the standard amenities that you give. But if you don't up the ante in terms of what you're delivering, or you don't do the best in class, there's a problem. Let me share a story with you. 25 years ago, when I met a customer and client of mine, and he came and even touched my feet. He says, क्या मकान आपने बनाया है, कितना बेहतरीन लग रहा है, कितने अच्छे बने हैं, कितना मार्बल अच्छा है, ये है, वो है. He kept on giving me compliments. I met that same fellow after 10 years. नाराज था, बोले कि I'm not happy. So I said, what happened? Is your building leaking? So some problem over there, electrical, ये वो क्या है क्या? Because I knew the building is in a good condition. So what are you complaining about? And you were the very happy person, aren't you the same person? He said, yes, I am the same person. I have seen your new building. वो मेरे बिल्डिंग से इतना बेहतरीन है. उस समय मुझे ऐसे बिल्डिंग क्यों बना के नहीं दिया? So whether you're working on construction in terms of real estate or you're doing a design of the apartment or whatever it is, you cannot afford not to upgrade. So whatever you have done yesterday, if you're not looking forward to make an improvement today, and if you're not making much more improvement day after tomorrow, you're out of date. So many times people say, मैंने तो बहुत अच्छा डिज़ाइन वो बिल्डिंग में किया इंटीरियर, अभी मैं वो कॉपी करके यहाँ कॉपी पेस्ट करके करने वाला हूँ. That's the biggest blunder a designer can do. Because what he tends or she tends to do is something you're satisfied about, you do it. The secret in all this aspect of it is very simple. If you have not improved on your next project of design as compared to your earlier project, you're out of date. Because somebody would have copied and seen what you have done, and he or she is going to better himself or herself for the next project that they are going to do. So the secret in everything that you do, whether it's architecture of a building, projects that we do, the next sector that we design, I ask myself, is it better than my last building? Is it better than my previous thing? If I'm an MC speaking, is my lecture today, which it was, better than my earlier one that I did when I heard you last time? If you've not bettered yourself in the next one, you're out of date because somebody has gone ahead and really copied you or seen you and all. And many times people come and tell me, Niranjan, you make such beautiful buildings. You know, I've copied your building in Jaipur. So I said, yeah, which building is that? So he says, my building of 10 years. And I'm very happy because I've made 5 times better buildings now than the buildings you made. So, what I wanted to put across to you is that you have to improve yourself every time. Designers, builders, architects tend to get satiated because they've been complimented for looking good, being good, doing a great job, and all. It doesn't work. If you haven't learned to improve yourself, I know great architects of the world, and I've seen many of them, good, great architects. They get boring after some time. 10 साल पहले, 15 साल पहले, 20 साल पहले जो बनाया था वही आज वही स्टाइल में कर रहे हैं. There is no improvement of them. How come you look always better every time I meet you?
Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder.
Maybe, but the reality is that you have always improved yourself. Your magazines have improved. Your things have improved. Design secret is change. You have to improve yourself. You have to change yourself. You have to guide yourself. And you have to make those changes, not for the sake of being different, but being able to aesthetically be more attractive, utility be better, and all this combination needs to be done, of course, at a cost. So we all have to worry about costs, because in all these cases, cost becomes very imperative, and that's how it is done. So when we are talking about design, what is it that I have done in my buildings to improve from my last building? What is it in the design of whatever I have done, whether it's clothes design, whether it's interior design, whether it's a design of anything that you're talking about? I think we lose out. चलता है यार, अभी हमने पहले किया था वो अच्छा बना है, इसलिए अभी हमको ये भी वैसे ही बनाना है, क्योंकि वो बहुत लोग मिस्टर बात्रा इतना कॉम्प्लीमेंट किया इसलिए मैं कॉपी पेस्ट यहाँ भी वो कर रहा हूँ. We have to now remember that when Batra comes again, if he doesn't find something better, he may still compliment you, but that is just to be nice to you, but it actually doesn't deserve it. So we have to earn that compliment from Mr. Batra, Dr. Batra, that he must actually feel that yes, Niranjan is improving. You as a designer are improving. You as a designer have moved about. And that is what all India is all about. That is what our Prime Minister is all about. देखिए ना, Prime Minister चाय वाला था, right? It's a matter of reality. That man has become Prime Minister of India.
2 times.
If so many times, yeah. So if I was just a chai wala, I would have been a good chai wala. I would have been a better chai wala. I would have been at the most a restaurant wala. Would I have thought of continuously improving to become the Prime Minister of India? And now he wants to be a world leader also.
Which he will be.
Which he will be. So what I'm saying is, if that is the best example that we have, why we as designers rely on कि Italy में होना चाहिए?
Beautiful example. You know one thing I tell you, the Prime Minister thinks of scale.
I'm not saying you don't take inspiration from Italy. Of course you should take inspiration from Italy. Just those who have not been, just go to the Geo Exhibition Center for women's clothes fashion. It's worth seeing. It's open up to June. So you must go and see it. It's all about Indian materials, Indian everything used throughout the world, in India and outside the world. And they've got all the examples, and of course showcased very, very beautifully by Nita Ambani. But what I'm trying to say is, you have to aspire to move up the value chain. And if you do that, India will be the best, and you will be someone very great sooner or later. Slowly but steadily, surely, definitely you will.
Thank you. And I must tell you, the Prime Minister, this is not a political debate. You may have a point of view, I may have a point of view. But he thinks on scale. I've had personal experience. He thinks of scale. He thinks of transformation. He thinks of really things that normal people don't think of. In terms of impact, in terms of thinking ahead 30, 40, 50 years. And I think in design you have to think of now and in future. I must tell you, before I ask a question, in real estate, the top largest 10 developers and the top 10 richest developers, imagine which country are they from. How many from which country? I want you to make a guess. Top 10 developer or top 10 richest developers. How many from which country? Huh? Which country has most? Yes, how many? How many? 9. And they've only worked in China. Why I'm making that point? I promise you, the real estate, because of RERA, GST, all that, that cleanup has happened, right? And today, for the first time, real estate developers, I'm not talking of you, but a lot more, are talking of what does the consumer want, trying to build that quality. India will see a real estate boom in the next 20, 30 years, next 5, 6 years, that it has never seen. He's given you the reasons. I just want to tell you, as you know, the tax net is really small. As the tax net will, in the next 3, 4 years, it's expected to go 6 times, 5 times. This government is very focused on doing that. If it moves from 3, 4% to 30%, imagine what will happen to real estate, because once you're a taxpayer, you'll buy a property in your name. I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So real estate is going to be, Mr. Hiranandani is going to be even more impactful, rich and wealthy. He's wealthy. The difference between being rich and wealthy, he's wealthy, but more importantly, he lives for impact. Now let me ask you, office spaces. Again, in COVID, people wrote the epitaph of office spaces. And I can tell you that office spaces, again, you look at office space demand data, numbers, don't go by what I say. It's just, we need 3 times more supply, especially of the quality that we need. How do you design the office spaces of the future is my question to you.
2 aspects. If real estate GDP of India will grow, demand for commercial real estate will grow, irrespective of what else you say. So I'm bullish on the real estate side because GDP of India will grow and I have great aspiration model. As far as office space is concerned, when I started my career, except my office room, nothing was air conditioned. Today, everything is air conditioned. Earlier, the kind of facility that we had to give to our staff and other people was minuscule and not existent. The quality of life that we lead in terms of it and the aspiration model that we have created and the opportunities of growth that we have created is immense and enormous. So the quality of commercial spaces is going to improve. You have to do it, otherwise you will not be able to retain your people. If you want good people, you will have to pay the price for it, and the difference between good, ordinary and bad is becoming more obtuse. So the ordinary people are in a different situation and the good people are in great demand. So the ordinary people and less than ordinary people can't find jobs if they are removed. And the good people are in demand. Even if they are working with you, 4 people will ask for you. So that change is going to happen. Quality of office space is going to continuously improve. A-grade offices will continue to grow. The C-grade offices will still be there, which is there. But the growth in the A will be much, much, much faster than the C grade. But the demand of C will also be there because India, 130 crore people. So all segments of society will grow. But A will grow disproportionately faster. That's all. But even C will grow because demand is there for that segment also. So all grow.
And just to give an example, from various categories, you take the mobile phone category, a 7,000 rupee mobile phone sells and a 1.5 lakh rupee Apple phone. I'm not even talking of 3-4 lakh rupee more sell. So India is not a either or market. It's an and market. You take cars, you take mobile phones, you take any segment. So that's true in real estate too. Now, sir, you're among the youngest real estate developers I've recently met or interviewed. I had the good pleasure of 4 weeks back to have a 2-hour interaction with Mr. KP Singh, who will be 94 in November, right? And I asked him lots of things, and it's in the last issue of Businessworld, not this one, the last one. And it was a master class for me. I was just enjoying the conversation like I always enjoy with you. And he kept talking to me about the size of roads, the size of plumbing, the number of car parkings, the size of, he wanted a debate on urbanization. And he has everything. So it was not a selfish reason to discuss. He felt very strongly about it. How do we improve? While we are building better buildings, we are building grander buildings, the quality of life on our roads, on our mobility, on our cities. I've been coming to Mumbai for 22 years every week. And it is always dug up. How do we design a better quality of life? Because you're a developer, you have an impact on government. Also the quality of air. I mean, people used to make fun of Delhi on the quality of air. People in Mumbai, I don't think they can anymore do that. So how do we design a better quality of life?
The quality of life is done by leadership. We need leadership which is not thinking of the next election. We need leadership to be like Prime Minister Modi, who thinks about 20 years in advance. We need leadership like Mr. Gadkari, looking into the future. We need people at all levels, top to bottom, to think of the future and that we do it. Earlier, we didn't have the money for the purposes of infrastructure, but now we do. So there is no dearth of money. So for example, in Mumbai, we had 190 kilometers of railways, western, central, and suburban railways. We are now adding 330 kilometers of metro in the next 2 years. So that's a difference. We are going to add on the Cross Harbour Bridge, which will open up land across the harbour equivalent to half the land of Mumbai. We are going to have a new international airport. We are having a coastal road which is taking place. So improvement is taking place, but it's only 50 years late. So what has happened is we are trying to do a catch-up, but it's not easy. For instance, you saw Dharavi program, such a beautiful one. Thank you for bringing it here. Dharavi, for instance, is the largest slum in Asia. What a bloody shame. And half the population of Mumbai, the richest city in India, lives in Jhopatpattis. And we can solve the problem, and we haven't. So the question is not only...
Adanis have been given the
The question is you
contract.
need leadership at a pace which is 10 times faster than what it is. You need great leadership. You need visionaries. We have less number of them. So we have them, but not enough to do it. And number two, we have a lot of people at the execution level, which is a shame. The problem is execution also has been a shame in this country. The same contractor who does potholes in Mumbai does a fantastic road in Dubai. Now, he's the same contractor. And he knows what is the good contract. So that's the issue.
Thank you, Mr. Hiranandani. I'd let you go by asking your last question, which is personal. Do you have a bucket list? I asked Mr. KP Singh in 93 plus, almost 94. Are you hungry? And then he went on to tell me what all he wants to do for another 20 minutes. So clearly ambition drove you to start it, what you started. You made such a great success. It's an example for everyone. Your son and you have entered the data center business. Is there a bucket list Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani has?
So we're doing data centers. We're doing a platform for industrial and warehousing with Blackstone. We're doing gas pipelines. I have 14 colleges in Bombay, 6 schools. We run a skill development center for the poorest of poor. All this is charity, including the hospital. There's no monetary benefit. I pay for the bill in my own hospital. And we are now doing transplants, liver and kidney. We'll do heart and lung.
What about brain change?
I want to eliminate diabetes in India. We will launch that by June of this year. So our hospital will start a movement, and it will be no secret. It will be not patented. It will be given to everybody. And we want to eliminate this to India. I've been appointed on Bombay University Advisory Board to upgrade education for 850 colleges, 8 lakh students. And I've been asked to join on the board of MMRDA for infrastructure of the Mumbai region. I worked on the first housing policy of India during Vajpayee time. I worked with the Prime Minister's Awas Yojana for 1.1 crore houses. I think the next 5 years will be more than what I have done for the last 45 years, I hope, if God keeps me with this health.
God give you long long life and great health, and may you continue to give back to society.